Tutor or no tutor? That's the question that I want to answer with this video, guys. As a lot of you might be experiencing at the moment, whether you're in VCE or younger year levels, I'm sure quite a lot of your peers go to tutoring, and it's something which has actually pervaded the culture of schools a lot, especially in recent years. So I want to help you guys make a more informed decision of should you see a tutor and should you not? And I'll try to take as most of a unbiased approach as possible. So let's break it down into pros and cons, guys. What are the pros of tutoring and what are the cons? Let's start off with actually the cons of tutoring. Speaking from my own personal experience, I didn't go to a tutor for every single subject. As you might expect, tutoring classes can take up a lot of time out of your week. And if you're in a younger year level where you have plenty of free time anyways, it's not a huge deal. But as you ascend into higher year levels, you can imagine that it does compress your week, and sometimes that takes out time for studying which you'll need for other subjects, or studying that you'll need for external assessments like the UCAT if you're interested in medicine. You have to be a little bit careful with how you arrange your time, just due to the constraints that you'll experience during VCE. The second reason that sometimes puts people off from tutoring is just simply the cost sometimes. Is it worth the money? And that is up to your own personal situation. But oftentimes you'll see that for people who can't really afford private education per se, tutoring is a more affordable alternative because you can still get that high quality education from people who've scored really well, but you don't have to pay for all the extra benefits and other things which come with private schools. So that's a bit more of a personal decision for you, but I wanted to throw that factor out there. The last thing is that sometimes it is very hard to find that perfect fit when it comes to getting a tutor. Some tutors might not be offering you the resources you want. Sometimes their teaching style might not fit what you're looking for as well. And that can make it, once again, a very time-consuming process to find someone who really works for you. So those are some of the reasons why tutoring can be looked down upon. But what are some of the benefits that you can experience with tutoring? Number one, if you go to tutoring classes, you'll have an unparalleled advantage in terms of the sheer amount of resources that you guys will get. You can imagine that the people who don't go to tutoring, which might be you currently, you really only have access to the resources that your school gives you. Depending on the school you go to, that can be really lackluster sometimes. I'm talking a lack of worksheets, a lack of practice tests, a lack of practice acts overall. Sometimes you really just have to depend on the textbook for practice, which isn't ideal when you want to do well in exam settings. And so, for that reason, going to tutoring companies actually does offer you that additional advantage of having multiple different exam resources to go to. Not only that, we can also offer mock settings where you can actually do it in a timed condition, such that you have those additional pressures which sometimes stirs people off during exams and whatnot. That's one of the major advantages in that case. A second benefit of going to tutoring is that you'll have unlimited contact with someone who's relatable, someone who's been in your shoes before, guys. At VC Vanguard in particular, we've got tutors who were literally in your exact shoes years prior. We've done VCE, we know the struggles. We've had other subjects that we had to worry about as well. And most importantly, we've seen the questions which time and time again, they're gonna ask you in the SAC and in the exam. So what does that mean for you? That means that you guys have the opportunity to ask us as many questions as possible, so that you can gain that same understanding that led us to success. Last but not least, the reason why I think tutoring is super beneficial is because overall, it's really important that you guys stick ahead to your school schedule. With schools, they might finish the content maybe just early term 4 or very late term 3. And that doesn't leave a lot of time for SAC practice and exam practice, most importantly, by the end of the year. Sometimes you guys might only have around 2 weeks left. That's not quite enough if you really want to score well. With tutoring companies, because we have our own designated time schedule, you guys will actually be finishing well ahead of pace in comparison to the rest of your school and the rest of everyone in the state as well. What that means then is you can start your exam practice way ahead of time, which means that you can really clutch up on that final exam and make a huge improvement to your final score, guys. So hopefully that gives you a better overview of what are the pros and cons of tutoring so you guys can make a better decision.